In his first Anzac Day address as the nation's leader, the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has called for servicemen and women to be offered much more than just gratitude.
Every loss, every death at Gallipoli was like a sapling torn out of the earth, leaving a hole where a tree should have eventually stood. While so much has changed in warfare since, the great character of Australians at war has not. Yet it must be acknowledged that we have not always honoured those who have fought in our name as well as we should. Likewise, we must acknowledge the truth that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who donned the khaki fought harder for Australia than Australia was sometimes willing to fight for them. Yet we learn and we keep taking steps forward together. Australians have gone overseas for us. They have gone because there is so much to fight for. And what we have created as Australians and nurtured over generations is something we must never take for granted. We hope that war will one day be done, that the cause of peace will prevail and we can stop inscribing names on memorials. But even then we will keep gathering before the dawn. We will gather together, we will gather for them. It is because of them that we can await the light, lest we forget.
The Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. Let's stay in Canberra. We're joined now by the Director of the Australian War Memorial, Matt Anderson. Matt, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Very well, thank you. It looked like a tremendous turn up there for the service at the Australian War Memorial.
It was a wonderful turn-up, Michael. We estimate that more than 30,000 people attended the dawn service this morning to listen to the Prime Minister give that stirring address.
What does Anzac Day mean to you?
Well, for me, it's the one day of the year, really, where as a nation we gather to pause and give thanks to all those over more than a century who have put service before self. It's just that moment to give thanks for everything that we enjoy, the freedoms that we enjoy, the values that we hold dear, and we give due acknowledgement. As we say every day at the Australian War Memorial, we acknowledge those who have served, those who are still serving, and today we also acknowledge the families that love and support them.
I saw from the pictures and our reporters reporting on the fact that there are lots of young people, certainly at your service in Canberra, at the ones already being held in Sydney, Melbourne, Darwin, Adelaide. That must hearten you as somebody trying to keep the legacy of Australian men, servicemen and women alive.
Well, that's right. It was part of the acknowledgement today was the centenary of legacy, and the promise that was made by two diggers in Pozieres, where one of them promised the other one, "I'll look after the missus and the kids," he said. And it's just a reminder that it's about all generations of Australia. It is, as you say, about keeping the memory alive. This year in particular, we acknowledged 30 years ago that we had over 1,000 troops deployed to Somalia, and they will be honoured and in fact lead the parade here in Canberra. So it really is, as the Prime Minister mentioned in his remarks, it's not just about Gallipoli, but of course that's the date that we honour and acknowledge today, but it's about everything that's come since. The standard that they set in 1915 is the standard that we continue to strive to uphold, and it's important that children understand that.
One of the most moving stories I've read in the week leading up to Anzac Day is that of Tom Pritchard. He is 102. He was the last surviving rat of Tobruk, that force mainly of Australians that repelled the German and Italian armies in 1942 in Tobruk in Libya. Really moving story. He said he didn't want to be interviewed. He'd rather the focus be on his mates who died in that siege. At the same time, we have Peter Cosgrove today, the former Governor-General and, of course, former Chief of the Defence Force, saying he's a bit worried that we're not doing enough as a nation to remember our World War II veterans. They are sadly fast diminishing in number, as you well know, Matt. I think the average age is about 95. Do we need to do more to honour our World War II vets?
I think we do, Michael, and our parade last year was led by Les Cook. I've actually just come from meeting Les Cook. Now, Les is one of the 100 years. I had his 100th birthday in February, which I was honoured to attend. And Les lied about his age to join up as a 17-year-old with his father, who was a First World War veteran, who lied about his age and put his age down. And Les served in North Africa. He served in Greece, Crete, the Kokoda campaign, Balikpapan and Borneo. And then when he thought he was coming home, he was then sent to Japan after the war to be part of the British Commonwealth Occupation Force. So Les's war was 7 years long. And when you talk to Les, he's terribly modest about it, but this is the moment, whilst our Second World War veterans are still walking amongst us, while those who are alive during the Second World War are still amongst us, this really is the time, and I'd argue the day, to talk to them, to listen to them, and to learn from them, because, you know, we may not see the likes of their generation again.
Yeah, not many will be left, sadly, once we get to 2025, the next big anniversary of the ending of the World War II. Hey, I know the War Memorial is moving to acknowledge the frontier wars, with that new exhibition being built as part of the renovations of the War Memorial. Is it time, though, Matt Anderson, to acknowledge the frontier wars as part of the dawn services and the Anzac Day marches?
Well, we're about to go immediately after this cross. I'll be moving across to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Veterans Association. They hold their annual ceremony, and they're holding it here on the grounds. That's led by our Indigenous veterans, and it's actually at a place which we call the For Our Country Memorial, which is an Indigenous memorial on the grounds where they acknowledge all those first Australians who fought for nation and who fought for country.
Matt Anderson, the Director of the Australian War Memorial, a very big day. Thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat to us.
Thank you, Michael. Good on you.